Silence has a language that very few people learn to read. Most people expect dislike to come with harsh words or open confrontation, but real life is rarely that simple. The people who secretly dislike you often smile, speak politely, and act as if everything is fine. Hidden resentment is far more dangerous because it hides behind kindness, fake concern, and carefully chosen words. Psychology shows that while people can control what they say, they struggle to control their repeated behavior. Over time, their true feelings begin to leak through subtle actions that most people never notice. A delayed compliment, a forced smile, a forgotten invitation, a sudden change in attitude when you succeed. On their own, these moments seem meaningless. Together, they reveal a pattern. The human brain naturally picks up these small social signals, even when you cannot explain why someone makes you feel uncomfortable. That uneasy feeling is not always proof, but it is often worth paying attention to. In this video, you'll discover the subtle behaviors people display when they secretly dislike you, why they hide their true feelings instead of expressing them openly, and how to tell the difference between genuine warning signs and simple misunderstandings. By the end, you'll see everyday interactions from a completely new perspective and understand the hidden psychology behind people's actions. Make sure you stay until the end because the final behavior is the one that exposes hidden resentment more clearly than any other, and once you recognize it, you'll never look at certain relationships the same way again. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy learning about psychology, human behavior, and the hidden patterns that shape everyday life, subscribe now and join us for more videos that help you understand people and protect your peace. People often think dislike will be obvious, but it usually is not. Most people avoid direct conflict because honesty can create tension, damage relationships, or make them look rude. So instead of saying what they feel, they hide it behind politeness. On the surface, they smile, greet you, and act normal, while resentment grows underneath. Psychologists note that people naturally avoid conflict and want to protect their image. They do not want to seem jealous, bitter, or difficult, so they keep acting friendly even when they are not. This is why hidden dislike is so confusing. Their words and behavior do not match. You may notice this in small ways. They congratulate you, but it feels forced. They offer help only after others do. They laugh with everyone else, but go quiet when you join in. None of these moments prove everything alone, but together they form a pattern. Workplaces are a common place for this. People compete for recognition, so they stay polite while quietly resenting each other. A coworker may smile after your success but become less supportive over time. Families can be the same. One person's progress may remind another of their own disappointments, leading to silent distance instead of honest conversation. Friendships can shift too, especially when one person's life improves faster than the other's. Fake kindness is common because it gives people control. Honest conversations are risky, but polite smiles and short compliments let someone avoid responsibility for their feelings. The problem is that this often causes more confusion than honesty would. You start questioning yourself instead of seeing the behavior clearly. Over time, hidden emotions leak out. Patience gets shorter, support becomes selective, warmth fades, a conversation feels colder, a compliment sounds flatter, and a smile disappears too quickly. These small changes matter because repeated behavior reveals more than carefully chosen words. That said, not every quiet or awkward person dislikes you. People have bad days and personal problems. The key is to look for patterns, not isolated moments. Hidden dislike rarely announces itself directly. It usually shows up in subtle habits, especially compliments that do not feel like compliments at all. People who secretly dislike you rarely show it openly. Instead, they often hide resentment in backhanded compliments. The words sound positive, but the message underneath is usually comparison, doubt, or criticism. A real compliment makes you feel appreciated. A fake one leaves you uneasy. This often happens when someone feels insecure about your success. They may say you were lucky, that anyone could have done it, or that they never expected much from you. Instead of celebrating your progress, they try to shrink it. If your achievements keep growing, their praise often becomes weaker, shorter, or disappears completely. Their reaction to your success can reveal even more. Supportive people are excited, curious, and encouraging. Resentful people downplay your wins, change the subject, or stay strangely quiet. They may also exclude you from conversations, plans, or updates, making you feel less important without ever saying it directly. Body language can be another clue. Forced smiles, brief eye contact, crossed arms, and flat tone often show discomfort. Around others, they may seem warm and relaxed, but around you, their energy changes. Words can be controlled, but small reactions usually reveal the truth. One of the clearest signs of hidden resentment appears when a person starts competing with everything you do. Competition itself is not always negative. Healthy competition can inspire people to improve, learn, and grow. Seeing someone succeed can motivate us to work harder and become better versions of ourselves. But when competition comes from insecurity rather than inspiration, it creates a completely different dynamic. The goal is no longer personal growth. The goal becomes proving that they are not behind you. A person who secretly dislikes you may begin turning ordinary conversations into silent competitions. Your experiences become opportunities for comparison. Your achievements become challenges they need to answer. Instead of simply listening and appreciating your story, they immediately search for a way to place themselves above it. You mention that you started a new project, and suddenly they explain how they completed something even bigger. You talk about reaching a personal goal, and they quickly mention a similar achievement that sounds more impressive. You share good news, and instead of asking questions or showing excitement, they redirect the attention toward themselves. This behavior is often called one-upmanship. It happens when someone feels the need to constantly prove they are better, more successful, more experienced, or more important. The conversation becomes less about connection and more about maintaining status. The interesting part is that people who do this are not always aware of what they are doing. Deep insecurity can create automatic reactions. When they hear about someone else's success, their mind does not immediately think, "That is wonderful." Instead, it asks, "What does this mean about me?" If your success makes them feel behind, they may feel pressure to restore their own confidence. One way they do this is by comparing themselves with you. They search for something they can use to feel superior, even if the situation does not require comparison. This is why some people struggle to simply celebrate others. Celebration requires emotional security. It requires being comfortable with the idea that another person can shine without making your own light disappear. Someone with strong self-worth understands that another person's progress does not reduce their own value. But someone who constantly doubts themselves may see life as a competition where every victory has a winner and a loser. Your promotion becomes a reminder of what they have not achieved. Your confidence becomes a reminder of their own insecurity. Your happiness becomes uncomfortable because it highlights emotions they have been trying to avoid. This is also why these people often compare details that do not even matter. They compare salaries, relationships, appearance, popularity, knowledge, experiences, and even personal struggles. Almost anything can become a measurement of who is doing better. A simple conversation about a vacation can turn into a competition about who traveled farther. A discussion about personal growth can become a debate about who changed more. Even problems can become competitive. You share a difficulty, and instead of offering support, they explain why their problems are worse. This constant comparison creates emotional exhaustion because every interaction starts feeling like a test. You stop feeling heard because the other person is not truly listening. They are waiting for their opportunity to respond. One of the strongest signs of this behavior is when someone cannot allow you to have a moment without bringing attention back to themselves. They may interrupt your story, change the subject, or immediately introduce their own experience. This does not always come from hatred. Sometimes people simply have poor communication habits or struggle with empathy. But when this behavior repeatedly appears only when you are sharing positive moments, it can reveal deeper feelings of insecurity or resentment. The psychology behind this is connected to self-comparison. Human beings naturally evaluate themselves by looking at others. This process helps people understand where they stand socially and personally. But constant comparison can become unhealthy when someone's confidence depends on being ahead of others. A secure person can look at another person's success and think, "That is possible for me too." An insecure person may think, "Their success proves I am falling behind." The difference is not the situation. The difference is the meaning they attach to it. This explains why some people become distant when you improve yourself. Your growth forces them to confront parts of themselves they may not want to face. Instead of seeing your progress as inspiration, they see it as a threat. Over time, this competition can become more obvious. They begin correcting you unnecessarily. They challenge your opinions even when there is no reason to argue. They question your decisions more than they support them. Every conversation becomes another opportunity to prove something. The strange part is that they may still describe themselves as supportive. They may say they want the best for you. But support is not only about words. True support creates space for another person to succeed without feeling threatened. A person who secretly competes with you often wants you to succeed only as long as your success does not make them feel inferior. The moment your growth changes the balance between you, their behavior begins to shift. And this leads to another powerful sign of hidden resentment. Some people do not reveal their true feelings when you are struggling. They reveal them when you begin to rise. Because there is a difference between someone who supports your potential and someone who is comfortable with your limitations. Some relationships feel peaceful only when you are not doing better than the other person. When you are struggling, they are available. When you are uncertain, they offer advice. When you doubt yourself, they seem unusually comfortable. But when you begin becoming stronger, more confident, and more successful, their energy changes. This pattern is difficult to recognize because at first, their support may appear genuine. They are there during your difficult moments. They listen to your problems. They offer encouragement when you feel defeated. But the important question is not only who stands beside you during your struggles. The deeper question is who can stand beside you during your success. Some people enjoy being needed more than they enjoy seeing you become independent. Your struggles make them feel valuable. Your dependence makes them feel important. When you start solving your own problems, building confidence, and creating your own path, they lose the role they once had. This is where hidden resentment can appear. Your growth changes the relationship dynamic, and not everyone is comfortable with that change. A person who truly cares about you wants you to become stronger, even if that means you need them less. They feel proud when you become confident. They celebrate when you no longer need constant help. Someone who benefits from your weakness may react differently. They may subtly remind you of your past mistakes. They may question whether you are ready. They may bring up old failures whenever you take a new step forward. Their words may sound like concern, but the effect is discouragement. There is a major difference between protecting someone and limiting someone. Genuine concern gives you information and allows you to make your own choices. Hidden resentment creates fear and makes you question your ability to move forward. Some people become uncomfortable when they see someone they know changing. They were familiar with the old version of you, the version who needed approval, the version who asked for advice, the version who accepted less than they deserved. When that person begins setting boundaries, improving themselves, and expecting more from life, it can disturb relationships that were built around imbalance. This is why personal growth sometimes reveals unexpected changes in relationships. Not everyone leaves because you did something wrong. Sometimes people distance themselves because your growth forces them to see what they have avoided in themselves. And one of the most revealing behaviors appears when someone starts supporting you less as you become stronger. At the end of the day, one of the greatest lessons about human behavior is this: you cannot control how everyone feels about you. Some people will appreciate your growth. Some people will misunderstand it. Some people may even secretly resent the things that make you different. But the strongest people do not spend their lives chasing approval from everyone around them. They understand that hidden dislike often says more about the emotional struggles, insecurities, and personal battles of the other person than it says about their own value. Someone else's inability to celebrate you does not make your achievements smaller. Someone else's jealousy does not make your progress less meaningful. Someone else's negativity does not define who you are. The key is not to become suspicious of everyone. It is to become aware. Pay attention to patterns, not single moments. Look at consistency, not just words. The people who truly care about you will not only celebrate you when you are struggling, they will also celebrate you when you are growing, improving, and becoming the best version of yourself. Real support does not disappear when you become successful. Real friendships do not require you to stay small so someone else can feel comfortable. The right people will not feel threatened by your confidence. They will be inspired by it. Remember, your energy is valuable. Do not waste it trying to convince people to see your worth. The people who are meant to be in your life will recognize it through your actions, your character, and the person you continue becoming. Sometimes the biggest sign of growth is not proving your value to those who doubt you. It is no longer needing their approval at all. If this message helped you understand people in relationships on a deeper level, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos about psychology, human behavior, and the hidden patterns that shape our lives. If you enjoyed this video, support us by liking it and sharing it with someone who might need to hear this message. Thank you for watching, and remember, protect your peace, trust consistent actions, and never let someone else's hidden negativity make you question your own worth.